day camp, our theater day camp that I am assistant directing with. So Fox is with me today, and we are just taking a little lunch break here between our camps. So, sorry. And he's doing really well. He went to the Alice in Wonderland read through with me yesterday and also did a great job. So it's just fun, like introducing him to theater and everything, like from a really young age. So we're having fun. Hello. It has been a minute since I have checked in, so I figured why not. I just got home from work. I have been a little bit slow on my reading these last 2 weeks, but our last day of camp is on Friday. It's currently Monday. So then after that, I kind of have my time back and can get back into reading and doing all of my editing and things like that. So I am excited for that. I'm currently reading All My Rage by Savata here. I'm on page 310, and I do not want it to end. I'm feeling very upset. I'm not a little bit worried. I'm a lot of bit worried. I'm very, very concerned for both Sal and Noor. So I am finishing this today. I also started reading The Hating Game, which I am like surprisingly really enjoying. I usually do not like romance at all. Like it is like really, really not my thing. I always think it's boring and pointless. Ow. Like the banter between these two characters is just like so enjoyable. Does anybody else's baby do this? It is constant. Unless I'm wearing a necklace, then he's pulling on that. No! I love you. Play with Travers. He loves you. He loves you. Yeah, mostly I'm just kind of like trying to look at the books that are like have kind of been like sitting on my TBR for a long time, books that I already own that I want to read, and just see like how they fit into the different prompts for the readathon. So I like both readathons. We're going to be on vacation the week of the Summerween readathon, because I'll have to just like pack my books and bring them with me. It's not like I could like order a book last minute, but of course I'll have my Libby app, so I could always like rent books if it's like the ones that I bring I'm not caring for. The racism that these characters experience in this story is so appalling and frustrating and unfortunately realistic. it's just making me feel so many things and making me really like question what I need to do more to support minorities in my community. It's just so frustrating. I'm upset. Anywho, so far this is amazing. I care very much about the characters. Very much. And I'm worried. So happy Tuesday. A little bit of a reading update for you guys. I actually finished 2 books today. So this morning before heading to camp with the kiddos, I finished The Hating Game, which I was listening to because it became available on my Libby app, and I was just like, oh, well, you know what? Like, this is like a romance that people talk about all the time. Like, maybe I can give it a try. Romance, it is not my genre, but this one I really enjoyed. The audiobook was really well done. So, like, I thought the characters were really like well fleshed out and like endearing. So I'm like, do I want to buy that? Do I want to have a physical copy of that? That is a new experience for me for romance, and I'm so happy that I decided to just listen to it because I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I get why people like this. This is so cute. This is so sweet. Like, what a little escape. And then after work today, I finished All My Rage, which this is a beautiful book. The ending had me wrecked, very emotional, in tears. I think especially like as a new mom, I'm finding like more and more like mother characters, really, I get them in a different way now. And like, that's like really corny to say. Like, my mom always used to tell me that like, oh, once you're a mother, everything is different. And like, I believed her. Now I just feel things on a whole different level. Like, I have a capacity to love that I did not know was possible because of that little one right there. He's been coming to camp with me each day, which has been amazing. I like wear him in my ring sling like almost all day, and he just like cozies up to me and loves it, and I'm just like, oh, this is the dream. This is amazing. I like never thought that I would be a mom because I'm this is my second marriage. I'm divorced, and in my first marriage I was really convinced that I was never going to have the opportunity to have kids. The fact that he's here in our life is just so amazing. It made a lot of this story very emotional. This is beautiful. This is so well done. I appreciated that it wasn't like sugar coated, but at the same time, like, there are like moments of real joy and moments of real like deep sadness. So I'm going to read or attempt to read A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. I have never read this, but it's always been something that intrigued me, but it wasn't something that came up for me in school, like with required reading or anything. It's pretty dense, like, because when you look at it, like, this text is like really small, so it's going to be an undertaking. How are those blueberries? Are you enjoying those? So I am going to attempt starting A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. If anyone has read this book, I would love to hear about your experience. So I've just started A Tree Grows in Brooklyn, and when I say I just started, I'm only in chapter 2. But I just wanted to share one of the quotes in chapter 1. And it's just like so interesting to me because like the way that this is described, this experience, this like thought sequence that this 11-year-old girl is having, like, I can remember the moment in my life when I had this like same revelation. And so she's like noticing like an old man dozing and just like how old he is, and like how she thinks that he's got like gross toenails and things like that. It says, suddenly Francie jumped up. Her heart was beating fast. She was frightened. For no reason at all, she thought of an accordion pulled out for a rich note. Then she had an idea that the accordion was closing. A terrible panic that had no name came over her as she realized that many of the sweet babies in the world were born to come to something like this old man someday. She had to get out of that place, or it would happen to her. Suddenly, she would be an old woman with toothless gums and feet that disgusted people. Just the way that it explains like how the panic comes over her is so clear. I remember having that same moment, like realizing like, oh my God, I'm going to age and die. Like, I'm not going to live forever, and neither is anyone I know and love. A little bit later, further down on the page, it says, outside, she sat at the curb, fitting the bread and the pie into a paper bag. A woman passed, wheeling a baby in a buggy. The baby was waving his feet in the air. Francie looked and saw not the baby's foot, but a grotesque thing in a big, worn-out shoe. The panic came on her again, and she ran all the way home. I don't know, it's just what a way to capture that moment of like realizing like, oh, everybody's going to die. That moment of like realizing mortality. I don't know, it just really struck me, so I wanted to share.
Stinker, you know when you're getting your picture taken.
I know he does, so.
You bring out that camera and he just.
I know. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Thursday. It is currently the last day of June. My TBR is very full for the month of July. And last night I finished A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. I cannot believe that I have gone 33 years without reading this book. This is beautiful. Like, this is how you do a coming of age story. I struggled a little bit, of course, with like the anti-Semitism and like the language being used. It was originally published in 1943 and takes place at like the turn of the century. So understand that it's like period appropriate. This is like really like kind of like a slice of life, like really shows you what their everyday life was like in that time. And so given like that context, I feel like it makes sense, and not that it's okay, but it's like accurate. It was just really, really lovely. And the characters were so deeply fleshed out, and you just really like felt for all of them. And like I've heard people say that like this book, like nothing happens in this book, but it's like, yeah, it's not like plot driven for sure. It is definitely a character driven story, but you care so much about the characters that it doesn't matter. 491 pages, and I read it in like 24 hours, which is really unusual for me. That's a 5-star for me. And then yesterday I was having a little like lunch picnic with my mom and baby Fox, and I asked her, oh, have you read A Tree Grows in Brooklyn? And she's like, it's one of my all-time favorite books. And so that was kind of cool because like she and I had never talked about it, so I didn't know that it was one of her favorite books. So I'll be excited for her to reread it and then like talk more about it together, like especially as two women, and this being about Francie and her coming of age. So yeah, I am so glad that I picked it up. I just feel sad that I didn't do it sooner in life, but yeah. Now I'm just kind of planning my TBR for July. I'm looking forward to it.